Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Friday, 12th May 2017. I'm Fredicia Liburd. Premier of Nevis and Minister responsible for human resource in the Nevis Island Administration, the Honorable Vance Amory, had a meeting on Tuesday with members of the St. Kitts and Nevis Chamber of Industry and Commerce. The meeting covered several topics from crime to money laundering. Another one of the topics discussed was the issue of illegal employment.
And those who hire people illegally, if they're caught, we are now looking to see what we can do to employers who hire people who are not legally landed and don't have work permits and are not contributing to Social Security. If once we get that bit of information, we are looking now to see how can we make the person who is infracting the law, that is the employer who is hiring somebody illegally, how can we make them pay?
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Amory. Minister Alexis Jeffers, in providing an update on the proposed construction of the Newcastle Police Station, said the government is waiting on the bill of quantities for the project to proceed. Jeffers was at the time speaking on Government at Work, hosted by Keith Scarborough.
Once we have the bill of quantities, then we can start offering that project out for tender. I am hoping that we can have work started, if not by the end of this month. I am hoping by the start of June. We did earmark somewhere around the end of May to start the construction of the Newcastle Police Station.
Jeffers was confident that the construction would begin in June, the latest, as it is something he is eager to see started. He noted that the building would be a much larger building and one that would seek to incorporate the latest technological features needed for security operations as well as to serve the growing community.
It will be a different design. It will be a much larger building. It would consist of a ground floor, a main floor, and then a deck, which would be a concrete roof. Why I say it will be bigger is because you'd have on the ground floor, you'll have the administrative areas like the reception area, reception desk, offices for the sergeant and holding cell. You know, all of the administrative work will be done on the ground floor. First floor will be like the living areas for male officers, female officers, and also it would be built to accommodate fire officers. That station will be 15,449 square feet, as against what was constructed in Cotton Ground some years ago of just over 5,000 square feet. So this is a large building, and someone would ask, well, why so large? Well, I'm saying that anything that comes to the constituency of St. James, that I'm the proud representative of, he has to be the best. If he has to be the biggest, well, so be it, but he has to be the best.
The area representative also gave some indication about the financing of the project.
The federal government is going to be assisting with the financing of this project. The Nevis Island Administration as well would be putting their share in as well. But indeed, the major financing is going to come from the federal government, which they have committed to. And as you are aware, and the general public will be aware, that policing is really a federal matter, and it's handled by the federal government.
The work began on the police station earlier this year, where a contractor began removing parts of the building in preparation for demolition, and demolition took place on the weekend of March 3rd and 4th, 2017. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris and Minister of Gender Affairs and Social Services, the Honorable Wendy Phipps, have revealed the government's plan to strengthen the ongoing rehabilitation program for those incarcerated at Her Majesty's Prison HMP during the Prime Minister's monthly press conference on May 10th. Prime Minister Harris stated that the government is in the process of recruiting an individual with interests and knowledge in forensic psychology to work with residents at the prison. Minister Phipps said that over the years, a number of persons in the public who are civic-minded have been contributing to the rehabilitation of prisoners from an educational standpoint, that is, getting them ready to join the workforce after their period of incarceration has ended. The minister said that the public would have been informed that there has been an increase in subject passes among prison inmates and that it must be commended. Minister Phipps said that in addition, the rehabilitation efforts will include a gender sensitization program that is in the works. The minister said that the government is also looking at international best practices in relation to the avoidance of persons repeating offences. She said that this would deny the likelihood of offenders returning to a life of crime after they have served their sentence. Still to come, Department of Agriculture hosts climate change workshop as part of Agriculture Awareness Month. The details when we return.
If you like dancing and whining and fretting till the morning. If you like
drinking, masquerading, live music always playing.
If you like islands of blue seas where people always smiling. If you like
street jams and bandstands where people will be jamming. Don't you miss this time, no.
in this country I'm a 43.
Our festival, our legacy.
I'm a 43.
Don't you miss this time, no.
In this country I'm a 43.
The Caribbean's greatest summer lion. Don't you miss this time, no. Our festival, our legacy. Don't you miss this time, no. The Caribbean's greatest summer lion.
As a responsible taxpayer, you help to finance free healthcare at all health centers on Nevis. Thank you for putting country above self. This message was brought to you by the Inland Revenue Department, Nevis. Be a responsible citizen.
Welcome back. The Department of Agriculture held its second workshop for Agricultural Awareness Month Wednesday 10th at the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union's conference room. This workshop focused on climate change and was hosted by the Department of Agriculture in collaboration with the Caribbean Agriculture Research and Development Institute, CARDI, and sponsored by the Global Environment Facility, GEF. Director of the Department of Agriculture, Randy Elliott, says that his department has been educating persons in the agriculture industry about climate change and has since introduced drip irrigation as one of the ways to combat climate change. Elliott went on to list the other initiatives the department has put in place to try to combat climate change.
We would have also embarked on greenhouse technology, and we would have seen an increase of about 25%, 30% of greenhouse being constructed here in Nevis between the years of 2015 and 2016. We would have also been engaged in a lot of mulch in terms of water conservation. And if you look around Nevis, there have been quite a number of other activities to counteract climate change, whether it's within agriculture or outside of agriculture.
The national coordinator for GEF is Iris Watts.
We have to think differently about agriculture. We have to adapt. It's like a war. We are in a war. We are fighting for our planet. We are fighting for our lives, and we are fighting for our livelihoods. And with a war, you have to go in with the right weapons. And what we are here today is to try to sharpen what we have, hopefully learn something new, and move forward in trying to secure our livelihoods and make ourselves more food secure in St. Kitts and Nevis.
The facilitator of the workshop was CARDI Rep. Christian Fleming. Fleming urged the participants to take climate change seriously.
Climate change is, in fact, at this point in time, very important. We are, as Ms. Isla said, in a war, and at the same time, while we adapt, we have our responsibility to how we further contribute to climate change and its development.
Persons from various agriculture sectors participated in the one-day workshop. Agriculture Awareness Month is being held under the theme Embracing Climate-Smart Agriculture to Achieve Food Security. 2 Nevision veterans in the tourism industry on Nevis are encouraging the island's youth to get involved in the industry. Patterson Fleming, Maitre D, and Velma Jones, head of housekeeping at the Nisbet Plantation Beach Club, who have served the award-winning establishment for over 50 years collectively, both reached out to the youths on Thursday, May 4th at the end of hospitality immersion.
Because I struggle every year to find waitresses and especially waiters, men in the hospitality industry. It's still a struggle every day to find men in the hospitality industry. It's a good career industry, and I recommend the boys that leave in school to venture out in tourism. I think it's one of the greatest industries you can ever find.
Jones said she has never missed a day of work in her tenure at Nisbet and professed her love for the industry.
I love the hotel industry. I love to meet new faces, new guests from different parts of the world. And I would encourage young people to come on board. Hotel industry is a very good place to work. As I say, I love it. That's why I'm here that long.
The event was a 2-day exercise hosted by the Ministry of Tourism in collaboration with the Four Seasons Resort and Nisbet Plantation Beach Club. It provided an opportunity for students at the primary and secondary schools to have an interactive experience with the hospitality industry. It is an activity in the ministry's annual month-long tourism awareness activity exposition, Nevis. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I'm Aphrodisia Liebert. Thank you for viewing.
Hi, I am 21-year-old Leticia Daniel, and I will be representing the island of Nevis in the 56th annual Miss JC's Queen Show. Known as Uwali, land of beautiful waters by its native inhabitants, and later nicknamed Queen of the Caribbean by British settlers for its wealth-creating powers. Nevis has long relied on its natural prowess and resources to create livelihoods for its people. Be it the plantation owners from days of old who drew wealth from the very ground, the fishermen who reaped their bounty from the lovely blue Atlantic Ocean or the Caribbean Sea, those who promote the healing powers of the volcanic hot springs, or the minds who would harness and channel the island's geothermal energy. The people of Nevis have long remained connected to the gifts nature has bestowed. As an ambassador of this majestic island, it is my duty to encourage my people to nurture, preserve, and protect what makes us unique as a people and strong as a country. Join me on July 30th in beautiful Antigua as I vie for the crown and as I bring this year's Miss JC's theme to life. Nature's Beauties, a celebration of the environment.